Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you some of the stages in graphics pipeline. Let me start with vertex shader and how did I load the shader models. The first one is fragment shader and then vertex shader. So let's take a look at colored triangle vertex shader. Over here we have positions that are specified with vectors, specifically three vectors, x, y and z. For the z component, as you see, all of it is 0, only x and y are defined with different values. So bottom, left, bottom, right, top, and 12 positions of triangles that are specified with these values. And there are also 4 colors representing each triangle over here from these values, and we send them to geo position and appropriate colors. So basically here we define 4 triangles, their positions and their colors. Next we have pipeline builder that is defined over here, and basically we have all the stages for the graphics pipeline defined here, and some of the functions that help to create and define appropriate structures for each of the stage in the graphics pipeline. And here we use them to set the shaders, triangle, vertex and fragment shader that were shown before. Then for this case I use primitive topology triangle list, so you can find more information on Vulkan API. Then I use polygon mode fill to fill each triangles with the color that is set for the triangle, and the rest of the functions, most of them are set by default values and some of them are disabled, like blending and depth test. So for color attachment format I use image format from this allocated image. As you can see here we have Vulkan format, and you can find more information about that inside the Vulkan specification. And there is actual build of the pipeline. So here is the different definitions for the structures that are used in the pipeline, as viewport state, color blend state, and so on. As you can see, there is references to the different stages. And then the most important part is create graphics pipeline, with the setted structures and the information that Vulkan need for specifying the pipeline. And of course we have appropriate destroying of shader models and the pipeline layout and the pipeline itself. Next, when we're ready with the definition of the pipeline, we use some of the drawing commands. So in this case I use draw geometry, and here we have some definitions of the color attachments, rendering info, and some utilities functions that help to define these structures. And the beginning of the rendering, we use the appropriate structures. So on this stage, this is the important part, pipeline bind point graphics. So when we define triangle pipeline, define the rest of the stage after the pipeline, like the viewport, some definitions for the viewport, sizes, width, height, depth, and so on. Then we use this command to set the viewport, then the sizer, set sizer, and lastly command for drawing. In this case, as mentioned before, there are 12 positions in the vertex shader, and we define here that we need vertex count as second parameter, 12 vertices. And let me show what is the result. So here are the 12 positions of each triangle, here, here, and here, and also for the rest of the triangles. And for each triangle we set the colors. So the example is pretty simple and almost identical as previous examples. The next steps should be related with allocating memory inside GPU for index buffering and vertex buffering, and how to appropriately manage the memory, and how to destroy and how to deallocate the used memory in the GPU. Any advice are welcomed. Let me know in the comments what you think about memory allocations and how to appropriately manage them using Vulkan. That's all for this video. Thank you for your attention. Until next time, take care.